What's up, guys? So today I'm going to introduce you to my new bike, which is, as you could have guessed from my second last video, is the 2020 Street Triple RS. I decided to sell my Tuono and my XR, and I bought myself this bike. This 765 is just flipping amazing. You really need to ride one to appreciate just how good it is, and what kind of value for money you're getting with this package. I got a black and Lumo version, which just so happens to match my jacket quite nicely. And yeah, I've had it for just over 2 weeks now, I think. And in that time I've put on about 600 kilometers worth, maybe 700 k's, just weekend rides. And then yesterday I actually took it to the track, and I must say it's honestly the best bike I've taken on track out of all the bikes I've had. I've had like 15 bikes or something now. It's just so capable, especially the brakes. The M50s on this bike are just crazy. I had to readjust all of my braking markers to take advantage of these brakes. Obviously the power going down from all the 1000cc bikes I've had before, the lack of power was obviously apparent, but you just up your corner speed quite a bit, and at the end of the day I was only 3 seconds off my fastest time on my Tuono, which is pretty impressive for a bike with 40 less horsepower, and like also about 40 newtons less as well, 40 newton meters. So not bad at all. I think with some more track time I could probably drop another couple of seconds. I know where I can make up time, but yeah, on the track it was phenomenal. There are a few things that really, or not really, but there's a few things that irritate me, that are just stupid nanny things for Euro 5 and safety and whatever. So I'll list them now. So number one, the bike always defaults to road mode every time you turn off the ignition, which is extremely frustrating. My XR and my Tuono and my MT10 and every other bike that I've owned that has rider modes has never defaulted to a setting other than the one you left it in when you turn off the ignition. So I like to wheelie, and if you want to wheelie this bike you have to put it in track mode, or you put it in rider mode and you set the traction control to track. If it's in anything other than track or off, the bike is not going to wheelie very well. It will do little power wheelies and whatnot, but if you want to do clutch ups and that kind of stuff, it's going to tell you no. Also on a cold supercorsa, even on track mode, the bike will cut in because the rear tire slips. So yeah, that is pretty frustrating. That's definitely number one for me, and it's taken me about 2 weeks to get used to that. Get on the bike, press mode, go to rider or track mode, and then set off. Another thing to note about that is that you cannot change to sport or rider mode while you're riding. Also highly annoying. Every other bike, as I've mentioned, you can change whatever settings you want while you're riding. So it's now just a little muscle memory thing that I have to remember. Turn on the bike, wait for it to start up, and then change modes. I'm getting there, but in the beginning it's pretty frustrating getting pulled back to earth by the traction control when you try to pull a wheelie for somebody or trying to look cool or whatever. Second point, also very minor, the startup animation screen is really slow, like probably 4 or 5 seconds until it gets to the dash. I don't know why it takes so long. It's just kind of annoying. The Speed 1200 was even worse, the 1200 RS. That also took pretty long to boot up, and also the menu on that bike was extremely laggy. I really did not enjoy that. So that's another little niggle. Anyway, the Rev Limiter, there's no flashing light, which is pretty annoying. Like on the Street 66675, every other bike has a light, a dedicated light that flashes at you when you are approaching the red line. On this, the entire dash just starts turning red at whatever setting you have it at, which is pretty hard to see, especially on the track. Obviously running right up to the red line, and I found it a little bit hard to see when it is flashing because it's not bright and it doesn't pulse, it just changes color. So that's one of the other things. Okay, so number 4, I think I was on 4 or 5, whatever, is the Bluetooth. So in the bike's menu there is a setting for Bluetooth, and if you go into that menu you can see that you can set up devices, you can control music, your GoPro, your headset, you can have navigation, all kinds of awesome features that I was actually very excited to use on my bike, because being able to control my GoPro and my headset just from the little toggle is very handy, and that really appealed to me. So when I got the bike, I went into Bluetooth, I set up a device name, and I went to search to look for my phone. I wasn't finding it, and then I was like, oh, you need the Triumph app. So I downloaded the My Triumph app, search again, nothing. So I'm like, okay, that's quite strange. So then I do a little bit more searching, and it turns out you obviously need the Bluetooth accessory module. So I was like, oh, that's a pain. So I check out how much it costs, and it's like $300, which is quite a lot of money for something that doesn't really do much. It's basically just a bridge between your phone and the bike. So that was $300. So I was like, okay, that's not too bad. Maybe it'll be worth it, and it's got a bunch of features that I'm quite keen to use. Then I researched it a bit more on the various Triumph forums, and everybody says it's a piece of shit and you shouldn't buy it. So upon reading the feature list or the capability of that module, it's pretty limited. It's on Triumph's website, it says it only works with a GoPro Hero 7 Black, which just so happens to be what I have. It only works with certain Sena headsets, which are all far newer than what I have. So that's strike number 2. The navigation and maps only works in certain countries, which is not ideal, and a bunch of people from Australia said it doesn't work in Australia. It might have changed, but that's a bit of a letdown for them. So that's 3 strikes. And then number 4, it doesn't work with a whole bunch of phones. It doesn't work with slightly older iPhones, certain Android models. So that's basically every feature of the accessory module is not compatible with what I have, which is a bit of a joke, to be honest, because Android is so widespread. GoPros are very varied. Maps is also obviously a big thing. Like, if it doesn't work in your country, then it's tough luck to you. And then after all of that, the reviews that I read from people that have got it to work in their country with their devices and their headsets and everything says it's very mediocre at best. So that's a bit of a joke, actually. Marketing the bike with having Bluetooth capabilities when in actual fact it's so limited and so spotty that you might as well not even bother, and the price is so high. So that is pretty frustrating. So I basically just disabled the Bluetooth option in my menu. I just act like the bike doesn't have Bluetooth at all. Oh man, there was one more thing I wanted to say now. The last one, number 6, the lap timer. Absolute trash. This bike is marketed as having a auto lap distance or a fixed lap distance. And auto lap distance, you start the timer and you do your lap, and you stop the timer for the next lap, and the bike uses the odometer to work out when the next lap will be. So if your lap is 2.5 kilometers, every 2.5 kilometers it will start a new lap, which is amazing. That is a really cool feature to have. Then the fixed lap distance, you can set the length of your lap. So if you know the exact length of your circuit, you put that in. So what I did on the track day yesterday was I put in the distance of our track, because I know it's 3,267 meters. So I put that in. At the start of the session, I press start on the timer to start a new lap, and I didn't get any laps. I got one lap of 5.5 minutes, and then the second lap was 47 seconds, and that was it. It didn't count any other laps. I also tested this on a public road, just going around the block, auto and fixed distance, nothing. So that's also basically useless. Might as well not even have a lap timer. So yeah, those are the things, all very minor, that are kind of annoying about this bike. So I did rattle off quite a lot of negative sounding points there, but in the grand scheme of things, they're all pretty minor, and I think they are just due to the regulations for the modes and that kind of thing. But the Bluetooth and lap timer and stuff, I think, is kind of stupid. So yeah, positives. This bike is a flipping beast to wheelie. It's like really nice and stable, smooth. Second gear, around about 75 k's an hour, it comes up really nicely. Suspension is amazing. From the factory, it's set pretty damn well. I weigh with gear probably 90 kilos, and I only had an issue with it when I started really pushing it hard. Then I could feel that the shock was a little bit soft, but I think, like what I did, basically just set it to sport mode or sport settings, and you'll be good to go. Mode wise, I don't think this bike needs all the modes that it has, much like the Aprilia RS660. Bikes like this don't need all these modes. You just basically need sport mode, or like a full power mode, and rain, and then just be able to switch your traction control on or off and your ABS on and off. That's it. Bikes like this don't need 5 modes. This bike does not need 5 modes. The Aprilia does not need 5 modes. I don't know why they have all of these modes. They're trying to be like the bigger bikes, the thousands, where mode switches actually make a difference. Like on a 1000cc bike, switching between different mappings makes a tangible difference. On a bike with this kind of power, sport mode and road mode really aren't that different. Like, yes, the throttle response is a little bit sharper in sport, but you don't need it, to be honest. And it's the same that's happening with a lot of smaller bikes as they're coming with modes. It's like, you really don't need modes. Just give the basics, ABS and traction, and that's it. Different throttle maps for bikes with like 100 horsepower is just stupid. But yeah, the ride is super plush, super comfortable. I'm 6 foot, 183 centimeters. I'm extremely comfortable on this bike. I have no comfort complaints, and I don't think many people would actually. Let's try a wheelie. Small one. Just going a little bit too fast there. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. I just do need to get some grips for my fuel tank. That was a good one. The bike is pretty slippery, and then I'll be sorted. I've got a Yoshimura 82 exhaust on the way. It's on back order from Yoshimura. They have been out of stock for quite a while. Unfortunately, that's going to be quite a while. They said their estimated stock is only going to be probably end of October, mid-November, so I'm going to have to wait for that. That should sound pretty damn good. From their little dyno chart sales pitch, you should gain about 1 extra horsepower, but it's mainly for sound and looks. These bikes just sound flipping awesome with an exhaust on them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I have a little bit of a screen coming as well. That's also in back order from Triumph. So hopefully end of this month maybe. We'll see when that arrives. But yeah, this bike is freaking amazing, and I think everybody should go and ride one. We're gonna take some photos just now and do a bit more of a walk around, and I'll catch you then. Cheers.